Counselor? There's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories,
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya.
Hey, happy campers!
Welcome back to Trail Mix.
This is our mini episode. It's super teensy tiny. It's fun size. It fits in your pocket and the cup holder in your car. Thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.
It used to be teeny. Now they're so fucking long.
What?
We just can't shut up during these stories.
Oh, the episodes?
Remember when these episodes used to be like 20 minutes and now one of them was an hour the other week? I'm like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah, we have the gift of gab.
We do. And speaking of gift of gab, we were on a walk yesterday and I saw the most incredible thing I've never seen before. Some would say we saw how the chili was made. What is that expression?
We saw how the cows got home.
No, there is an expression about some sort of food and how the food is made.
We saw how the burgers were made. I think it's chili.
I think I made that up.
You want to see the secret sauce?
How the sauce was made.
What?
Is it just the sauce?
Bitch, I think it's the sauce.
Oh, wait, we'll figure it out. But there's been a road block a couple blocks up from us. The entire stretch of like a mile road, there is men digging cement up, repaving. It's an absolute disaster. And we saw this machine that was driving slowly on the pavement and it was basically eating all the tar and cement off the ground. And at the top of it had a little hat and it was spraying all the powder cement into another truck.
It was so freaking loud, but we had to stop and stare.
It was kind of satisfying. And then there was a moment where we both realized that we should be wearing masks. Because I think we were just like inhaling tar. Oh. It was in the air.
It absolutely stunk up the entire block. And I was looking at the workers who I know that they're following the truck all day, but they had those massive, Bane, is that his name? Is he a hero? He's a villain.
Yeah.
He's someone, I think he has the mask, but they had the huge masks that like spray painters when they're tagging and doing their stuff like Subway Surfer. I knew our lungs were probably going through it. And also...
Well, we vape, so... Sorry, God, let it go. I don't care. I know, it's bad.
We also could have turned down a street at any old time, but we chose not to.
Yeah, we were complaining about how much construction there was on the streets, like two fags with their coffee. And then I was like, why don't we just change streets? Like, this is so drama.
We've been passing so many streets that we could just turn right down.
So I knew I wanted to talk about this on the show because I thought it was really interesting because I had never seen how they get the tar up. And it's a really interesting machine. But speaking of roadwork drama,
oh God,
I just saw the most interesting thing. Not interesting, it's actually kind of bad, but like juicy gossip from Hoboken.
I'm sad and I'm soaked.
Oh wait, so I have a friend Vinny, he lives in Hoboken and he shared this on his Instagram story this morning. And I was like, wait, what? So in Hoboken this past week, whenever this airs, I don't know, sorry. When we're recording, so this week, there was construction on this very specific road in Hoboken and the pavers paved over the storm drains.
Oh no.
And apparently, if you're from Hoboken or this area of Hoboken, it's known for flooding. Like anytime there's a lot of rain, like the city will put out sandbags. So this construction company paved over the storm drains. It's been raining nonstop in New York since we've been back. So yeah, the whole streets are flooded.
That is novice. That is a novice job. How could you be so foolish?
And it was really funny because the article he shared was from this website called Hoboken Girl. And sometimes and it's funny to you, but like we have to respect that local journalist because she broke the story and then you know who picked it up after?
News.
Their news station.
Oh, I'm not making fun of her. I think a Hoboken Girl, we all have a little Hoboken Girl inside of us.
I think we all have to look inside and find Miss Hoboken Girl because you have one in you. But isn't that crazy how much tar talk there is right now?
A lot of tar talk, a lot of tartar buildup, a lot of tartar sauce.
Yeah.
We wanted to see how the tartar sauce was made.
We did. And I just can't believe this. We've started an entire section of our show about just straight up construction work. And you thought that we weren't butch? Look at us.
Yeah, we put the straight up.
We do. And should we just get into today's episode on that note?
I think we should.
Okay, what's your first story about?
I've got a camper with an international wedding invitation that's causing trouble in paradise.
Oh my God, because I have a wedding venue employee who heard more than he bargained for.
a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader with a plot for revenge.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
You guys already know.
And a camper whose trip to Bali took a messy turn. I'm familiar. Let's get into it.
Are we qualified to be giving advice? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Absolutely. Welcome back to Dear Counselors. You've got an inquiry and we've got the answers. You can feel free to take it or not, but we are spewing advice left and right. Also, follow up with us. If you have a follow-up that we've given you advice before, maybe you took it or things changed, we would love to hear from you. Hey, loves. Hey. I need your sage counselor advice. So, okay, let's get serious here.
Yeah, get serious, please.
Stop. So, my boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years now, and we're talking about marriage and getting engaged in the next year. I love him so much, and I truly see a future with him, but there was a recent situation. My best friend is in our mutual friend's wedding. I'm going to say that one more time. My best friend is in our mutual friend's wedding. I was invited to the wedding as well, but it's in Mexico the week before Thanksgiving, and it's in the middle of the week, so it's a week-long event. So it's like we've got a lot of things going on here. But basically, it's around Thanksgiving. It's going to be a week long. It's in Mexico. Originally, the plan was for my best friend to go and share a room with her family. Then my boyfriend and I would share a room. Keep in mind that the hotel rooms are somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 for the week. But now her family can't come. And my boyfriend can't come due to his new job and inability to get the time off. Naturally, this would mean that my best friend and I would go together and share a hotel room. I talked to my boyfriend about it, and he's kind of mad at me for considering going to another country without him. He said it's, quote, thought activities. Then he threatened to break up with me if I go. At first, I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Obviously, it sounded super controlling. He has trust issues due to his past girlfriends and their indiscretions, so I would normally give him a lot of slack on him getting triggered. I am just not sure where to go from here. Breaking up with him is not an option for me, but what if he's serious? Also, I want to go on this trip with my best friend while I'm young and not married or tied down. But even if we do go, how am I supposed to have fun knowing that my boyfriend is back home pissed off at me that I took a trip out of the country without him? What should I do? If he doesn't budge, should I just say sorry to my best friend and not go? Should I tell my boyfriend to get over it? Not sure because I feel so stuck between two people I care so much about. Signing off, the camper that doesn't know what to do in cabin 2. Okay, so I have some thoughts. Do you want to go first?
No, I feel like you're fired up, so I want you to take the lead on this.
So he's obviously insecure and manipulative. He's not going to break up with you. That is an empty threat. He just wants to see what you're going to do. He's probably also jealous that you're going. And to say thought activities, THOT for our audio listeners. Well, I guess visual listeners too.
Like, you don't have the words on the screen either.
That is, he's already calling you a thought. Because you're going, like, what does that, ask yourself this, have you personally ever done anything in your relationship that would have him questioning if you would go out and like cheat on him or something? Because that's not the word that, is being said here. But my assumption is that he's insecure because his past girlfriends had cheated on him and now he just is a little man-child.
And he can't go because of work?
And he can't go because he got a new job and he can't take off. So the original plan is like out the window.
Okay, so camper, the problem is it's before Thanksgiving, a really tricky time to go. It's also very expensive. However, I think if you can afford it, if it's going to put you in financial ruin, absolutely not. It's not worth it. If you can't afford it, okay, fuck your man. Okay, first of all, because it is an empty threat. That's a very good point. And also, like, you should relish this time with your best friend before you guys both get married and have kids. You know what I mean? Like, just go and enjoy it and have fun in the sun. And if he needs a couple check-ins and that's going to make him feel happy, call him midday. But I don't think he's going to break up with you. I think that's very manipulative and I think that's very immature of him. Also, his previous trauma is not your responsibility.
No.
And I'm sure you know that. And I think you just need to be reminded of that. And I think maybe he needs to be reminded of that. It's okay. Jonathan and I do things separate all the time for vacations. I've never had an issue with that. I think what is important though is communication on these trips. You know what I mean? Like I think we always do a good thing of like throughout the day sending a quick text just to make sure that we're like in the loop with each other.
Yeah, but we don't have like that worry where I don't think you're going out and cheating on me and vice versa.
No.
But clearly he does.
I just think you need to like also just like live your life as independent people. It sucks that he got a new job, but you were also your own person. And this could be a really amazing experience for you and your best friend to share together, to have for the rest of your life. I have trips with my friends that were from like almost 10 years ago that we still talk about to this day. Thank God I did that. If I didn't have money for AT&T that month, I don't remember. But what I do remember are the twisted teas on the rivers of Maine, okay, with my best friends. I always will say go on a vacation with your friends. I think friendship vacations are just so stupid and so fun always. I know you won't regret it. I think
Seriously.
Sit them down and say, grow up.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. And one last thought before we move on. At one part you said that breaking up with him is not an option. And I'm not going to be the person to be like, I don't want to put that out there on this podcast to say break up with him, but I'm just curious as to why that is. Because if you're like dependent on him, or if you're independent from him, which I'm assuming you're independent from him. That's what I'm gathering here. But, you know, take into consideration you've been dating for 4 years and this is what he's doing on one trip that you're going on. Marriage, I'm assuming you're planning for it to be forever. People aren't really getting married, you know, giving it a little bit of a time limit. Unless you're Anna Nicole. So I should edit that out. But think about any trip in the future for the rest of your lives. How is he going to act if you want to go on a girls trip? This is how he's going to act. I'm sorry, life is not a dress rehearsal. You only get one. So I think you need to sit him down and go and have the time of your life. When my cat Buffy is healthy, she's happy, and that makes me happy. And as much as I'd like to believe that I am not a mind reader, so I don't always know if she's unwell. Helping me keep tabs on my cat's health is just one reason I use Pretty Litter. Pretty Litter's ultra-absorbent crystals trap odor instantly, so no more cat bathroom smells. I don't want to be walking into your cabin and smelling that dirty cow pie your cat just made in the litter box. Pretty Litter's super light crystal base also minimizes mess and dust. Plus, the crystals last up to a month, which means less scooping and fewer trips to the garbage can. Here's the coolest part about Pretty Litter. It changes color to help monitor early signs of potential illness in my cat, including urinary tract infections and kidney issues. I'm gonna be honest for a second. I'm ultra sensitive when it comes to Buffy's health. Like, she's my world, she's my angel. So the smallest unusual antics from her and I'm bugging out thinking the worst. But I know that with Pretty Litter, I have peace of mind because I can monitor her health every day. And Pretty Litter ships free right to my front door in a small, lightweight bag. Pretty Litter helps keep tabs on my cat's health and keeps odors down. You and your cat are gonna love Pretty Litter as much as we do. Go to prettylitter.com/camp and use code CAMP to save 20% on your first purchase and get a free cat toy. That's prettylitter.com/CAMP, code CAMP to save 20% and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/camp, code CAMP. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
This is a really big secret. Thank God we're on a body of water. This is Confession Canoe. Welcome back to Confession Canoe. What are you confessing to your counselors? Write us in at campcounselorspodcast.com or campcounselorspod@gmail.com and let us know your juicy confessions. This one starts off, hi counselors, love you both. I am a huge fan. So I work in the wedding industry, and you know what that means. I hear crazy stories and witness the most feral people on earth every weekend. I bet.
I'm sure.
Like, that's actually so accurate. Like, no wedding is ever truly that boring. Like, something is gonna go awry.
I always think at the start, because we've just been to so many weddings at this point, because all of our friends are getting married now. But at the beginning, like when everybody's dressed up and really nice and arriving at the wedding, in the back of my head now, I'm always like, I'm gonna see these people sweating on the dance floor, shaking their ass to the Cotton Eye Joe in about 6.5 hours. And then when I get there, I'm like, remember how put together we were hours ago? Aren't you glad we made it here?
And he sees it every weekend.
Every weekend.
So this happened years ago when I first started. One of my brides postponed her wedding from June to September without giving us any explanation. But it was only a few weeks before her original date and she seemed stressed, so I didn't want to push her to spill. So she's calling, she's like, I can't do it, and can we push it back a few months? I'm like, okay, first of all, push her to spill. Well, I found out a few weeks before her September wedding, so the new date, that apparently the groom was caught cheating on her and begged the bride not to leave him.
That's what I assumed.
He apparently agreed to do some crazy, intense 8-week pre-marriage counseling to get them back on track before the wedding. Well, it's something, you know? I don't know. Teach their own. Well, he'll say my favorite phrase at the end of this. So the wedding day rolls around and the groom shows up to the venue before everyone else, which is odd, but I didn't think much of it. A few minutes later, this beautiful woman comes through the door and the groom walks up to her, hugs her, and takes her into the groom's dressing room. Once again, I thought it was a little odd, but didn't read into it. That is until I started to hear noises. So my office has double doors that face the front door and share a wall with the groom's dressing room. I do not mean to overhear things that go on in there, but you can't help it. The walls are just so thin. So while I'm typing up emails and going over my calendar, I start to hear strange sounds coming from the groom's room. At first I was thinking, oh, I'm sure it's just nothing. They're just talking or something. Until I heard the couch that sits against our shared wall start bumping, shaking, and scooting. Scoot Marie. I am sure you can imagine all the loud noises that started happening after that. I jumped up from my desk and found somewhere else to be for a while after that. About 20 minutes later, yikes, I saw the groom walk the beautiful woman out, and obviously I watched them through the windows as he gave her a little smooch before she got in her car. And about 10 minutes later, the rest of the bridal party's family and bride showed up. Obviously, I never said anything. Not my circus, not my monkeys, but I do wonder if that couple is still together. All of this to say I feel like an accessory to an affair and that some men are just dogs, derogatory, and cannot change. Sincerely, a listening Linda in the cabin next door.
A listening Linda.
This camper is such a listening Linda.
What a dog.
Yeah, it's awful. I wouldn't get involved.
As our camper, no. But I'm talking about the groom.
I just feel like some people are going to hear that and be like, oh no, you need to tell her. But also
but you're also, think about this, you're telling her on her wedding day.
And she was just told this like a couple months previous. Like, and she knows what she's getting into.
You also don't know, our camper also doesn't know if they have like, I'm sure this isn't the case.
An arrangement?
Yeah.
That's not the case.
It could be like maybe an open relationship, but I'm not protecting him.
That's
I'm just saying,
crazy
listen, I'm literally just giving reason to why our camper wouldn't get involved. No, if anybody would try to press it, I'm protecting our camper.
Our camper didn't get involved because our camper didn't want the mess, and that's all our camper needs to say.
Yeah, but we shared the mess here, so I'm grateful for that. But damn, on the wedding day, 10 minutes before the bride and me mom show up.
Yeah, he said, one more pump it, I'll be good to go right down the aisle, would you, mate?
Ew.
Hey, I love the phrase, not my monkeys, not my circus.
I would say not my circus, not my monkey.
It's so cunty and it's so true. It's like, listen, like I'm
not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
That goes hand in hand with play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
It's very similar. This is giving country club behavior.
Yeah.
Who's the damsel?
She's in distress.
Do you have another confession you can do for us?
Oh, I do. Thank you so much for asking. Hello, Zach and John. I have been a fan for almost a year now. Thank you for all the laughs. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
And listening. Love you. Okay.
I love you.
So my confession is in honor of the new Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders documentary that just came out. We already talked about that on an episode. You already know how we feel about that. Anyway, I was born and raised in Dallas. So naturally, growing up, I always wanted to be a DCC. When I was around 10 years old, I decided I was going to dress up as one for Halloween. However, there was one issue. My bestie at the time, we'll call her Alyssa, was a very sweet girl, but she always copied me. Like everything I did, down to the things I said. So when I told her I was dressing up as a DCC for Halloween, she, of course, had to be one too. This pissed me off. Did you ever have somebody who was just like copying you?
No, but I copied my best friend's screen name. I've talked about that.
The Zach You Can't See Me?
Yeah, his was Still You Can't See Me.
But technically his was a copy of John Cena.
Yeah, but still, then is she copying the DCC? Like I was copying.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it.
That was one straw. This is the last straw.
Yeah, I don't think I was a copier by nature though. But if I was the copier or to be copied, I think I was more of the copier.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, when I was a kid, I was just so strange, never grew out of that. And just like, I don't know, much to the beat of my own drum. So I don't think anybody wanted to copy me, but also I didn't really want to copy anybody else unless it was the Spice Girls. Okay, so I was tired of her copying me. So Halloween day came, we went to her house to get ready for trick-or-treating. In her bathroom, she had her costume hanging up because her mom had glued rhinestones to it. They were still drying. So while I was peeing, quote unquote, I got my revenge. I took all the rhinestones off the costume and put them on the floor to make it look like they had all slid off, and she would blame her mother.
That's vicious. Vicious childhood behavior. That's crazy.
I came back to the room and told her the tragic news. Oh, Alyssa. Oh my God, your costume. Is that your costume in the bathroom? All of the rhinestones slipped off. Your mom must have used Elmer's.
Yeah, she should have used fabric glue, Alyssa.
I would give you my rhinestones, but they simply won't come off. I came back to tell her the tragic news. She ended up going trick-or-treating in a costume that had glue spots all over it.
Well.
And that's why you can't wait till Halloween Day, Alyssa. Should have planned ahead, babes.
She couldn't. She was waiting to see what our camper was doing first.
Literally, she's like, day of, did we make any changes? Are we still on for today? Okay, Mom, get the Elmer's. Do you remember the Elmer's glue that was like clear and blue and had glitter in it?
Babe, Elmer's glue is more popular now than it ever has been because it's the number one ingredient in slime.
And the drag queens love it. A glue stick for the eyebrows.
Yeah. Have you ever blocked your brows?
No, but it's curious, isn't it? That they haven't come out. Well, I'm sure that they have. But like a makeup brand hasn't come out with essentially a glue stick that has their brand on it.
I would imagine they have, but Elmer's is
cheap.
$1 and it's washable.
Cheap. What was the brand that had the stripes on it? The yellow, the pink, and the orange stripe? It was a sister company.
Crazy.
No, it wasn't crazy. But our camper is.
Rose Art.
So she ended up going out trick-or-treating, like I said, with all the glue dots everywhere. Not to mention, she got her bag of candy stolen by other girls that lived across the street. They also hated her. Oh, now I feel bad.
Yeah, she's just like, okay, I'm sorry for existing.
Oh, her entire bag of candy stolen?
Basically mugged in the streets of Dallas.
Oh my God.
That is not DCC behavior.
To this day, I'm not sorry about it. Signed, Petty in Cabin 8. Damn.
No,
Alyssa.
I do get it though, because it was your idea, and you can't tell people your ideas.
You can't. But also, it's a squad. It is a cheer squad.
You're
it is
right.
a team.
It kind of was, yeah. No.
But at the time, you were like, get your own. Be a Rugrat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything but this.
Hey girlies, I'm Cody Rigsby. And I'm Andrew Chappelle. We're here to announce our brand new podcast, Tactful Pettiness, now on Podcast One. We have a lot of opinions. Flip-flops in New York City? You don't love yourself. If I'm not seated, I'm not tipping. Do I want to see a picture of your baby? No. If I have to scroll more than 10 seconds, he's not cute. Settling gets you an ugly boyfriend. So we're going to help you out. We sure are, because we have the life expertise. We have mastered throwing shade with intention. We are in the business of helping you find and keep your man. And we're here to teach you the fine art of tactful pettiness. Join us each week as we traverse the world of pop culture, chat with our celebrity friends, and show you how to accept yourself without taking life too seriously. Get new episodes of Tactful Pettiness with me, Cody Rigsby, and me, Andrew Chappelle, every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Stay petty, bestie.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Welcome back to Scary Stories Around the Campfire, campers. I have a good one today that I think we can relate to.
All right.
Well, I know I can. Hey, happy counselors.
Hey.
First of all, thank you for entertaining me during my long commute. I can't get enough of the pod, although if I binge it too long, I start speaking like a hybrid of you two. My husband asked me why I was saying grosser, so weird. What can I say? I'm a chameleon. I guess it's better than the time I binge watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and became very confrontational for a week. Anywho, here is my story.
That whole week though, when that Salt Lake City came out, you were like, "Do you want to talk about the husband?" Like you just kept slurring.
Room is the nastiness.
Zach would wake up slurring like he was drunk because of that woman.
Every single week, I choose one word to hyperfixate on, and I don't have one today, but for the past 5 days, it's been, what's it been?
Oh, we were quoting Kira from the Patreon vlog, if you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's my day off. I'm relaxing.
But also, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking of the song, Take a Day Off.
Yeah, by Annalise Vanderpool from Over It.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Anyways, let's get back to the story.
Okay.
The year is 2018, and my husband and I just jet-setted across the world to be in Bali. We've been before.
We've been.
It was magical. The rainforest, the temples, the food, the people. I wanted to move there. 10 out of 10 stars. I will say Bali is a 10 out of 10 location. Most magical place I've ever visited. And I've been to Epcot, okay? I know what I'm talking about. We had a few excursions planned by our travel agent, one of which was a bike ride. They had sent us all the important information for each activity, but one thing about me is I have ADHD and don't read the fine print or any real print at all. I just skim the text until an interesting word pops out. I got bicycle and that was about it. I had the most beautiful image in my mind. 2 cruiser bikes with little bells and our hair blowing in the wind behind us as we drove past palm trees searching for tropical fruit to put in our cute little baskets. Now, I'm no planner, but what I will plan is an outfit for the occasion. I wore these short little denim shorts, a sensible black oversized t-shirt, and little Italian sneakers. I was ready. And to me, that sounds like a sensible outfit for this. It's bike riding. Shorts, an oversized tee, and sneakers.
Yeah, I
that
just
seems fine.
Never comfortable in a denim. Almost ever.
Well, Bali feels like you're in a sauna the entire time, but it's okay though because everybody's sweating. Like you don't feel weird about sweating in Bali because hyperhidrosis girlies, you're fine. But everybody is wet the entire time. It's a rainforest. I don't know. I know I'm screaming. When we arrived on our excursion to the tour guide rolled up 2 mountain bikes and asked us if we needed biking gloves. I immediately regretted my outfit as well as daydreaming during Sandwich's bike safety lesson at camp. We were going to be biking through rough terrain, rainforest, farms, villages, and more. I get it. I know where they are. I can see it in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
The ride was definitely not for beginners, but was absolutely beautiful. We saw the sights, got to meet the most wonderful people, and even ate at a home-cooked lunch in the middle of a local farm.
Oh,
we did the same
that.
thing. I'm like, are they just doing that?
Yeah, it was probably one of the excursions that they did.
Same guy.
No, his name was Demon.
His name was Demon.
And we'll never forget him. He climbed a tree and he literally climbed. The tree must have been 3 stories tall. He climbed up in his bare feet, grabbed a coconut and came down. And he loved the applause.
Oh, but beyond the athleticism and the cooking talent, you could have swapped him out for Jimmy Fallon and he would have done better.
Hilarious.
A natural comedian.
Oh my God. And he was for the gays.
Oh my God. He was for the gays.
He loved us. Yeah.
He was strictly punani, but he was I don't care as long as you're laughing. I like you.
Yeah.
No, so I wonder if it was Demon. It was easily the most wonderful experience of my life. Agreed, girl. I got it. The most difficult part, and the part that set off a series of unfortunate events, was a steep decline down a hill to a path about 2 feet wide with irrigation ditches on each side.
Yeah, a lot of irrigation ditches.
So 2 feet is the path wide.
And then it's irrigation.
Yeah, down a steep decline.
Right.
I'd be crying. Did they really expect me to ride this bike on a balancing beam? Did they think I was Simone Biles? If they did, they were wrong. I tumbled straight into the ditch filled with filthy water. The farmers in the adjoining fields tried to hold back their laughter, which was more embarrassing than if they just laughed. Both my ego and my legs were severely bruised. I shrugged it off and continued to pretend I knew what I was doing. You do seem like the kind of girl that I want to vacation with, though. She's literally falls into an irrigation ditch off a mountain bike, and she's and I'm fine. And I'm up, and I'm going to keep it going.
She could have been Kristen Cavallari and been Steven!
She could have.
God. Shut up.
No, she was
You're a trooper.
Yeah, you're a trooper. So I respect you for that. Who cares if you didn't read the fine print? What was the fine print going to say, camper? Irrigation ditches and narrow roads? You weren't going to know that regardless.
Right. And it sucks, and we're covered in pooey water, but you know what? What else are you going to be doing? Oh, sitting at the relaxing spot? Never mind. My point is null and void because I would have been.
Camper, you know me. I also was in pooey water. I know on a farm. I cannot relate more. Yeah. So I didn't fall into it. I willingly went in. So there is a difference there. When it was time to fly home, I started to feel aches, chills, and a high fever.
Oh no. This is all too familiar.
I know. This was especially inconvenient because we had 22 hours of total flight time to get home on the longest flight from Sydney to LA. On that flight, I was miserable. That flight was 14 hours, and I just cried and watched The Lion King multiple times. I told my husband I was dying, but at least we had a great honeymoon. I could not have been more dramatic. No, I get it. When you don't feel good, you don't feel good. When we finally reached our home in Denver, I was shitting my face off. I literally had diarrhea 30 times in one day. I know this because I took a tally on my phone because I love to overshare health details with anyone willing to listen.
Well, hey, we're willing to listen. Thank you for tallying.
I love that made me laugh so hard. I am willing to share health details with anyone, oversharing health details with anyone willing to listen. That's very funny. That was just, I don't know. Sometimes you guys write things, I'm like, I'm going to stop
funny.
and just highlight that was comedy. When I went to the doctor, they immediately sent me to triage. Oh my God. And started giving me fluids. One doctor thought I might have malaria and sent me to the ER. My poor husband went from spending a luxurious honeymoon with me to carrying a bag of my shit down the hall at the hospital to the lab for testing. The vows? Through sickness and in health.
Oh, activated.
Activated. He said, okay, week 1, let's get it going. I was sent home with no answers. I was waiting at home in misery about a week before the lab called with my poop results. I had caught a bacterial infection called, you're not going to believe this, Campylobacter. Camp's in the name.
It's made for this podcast.
Made for the podcast. They suspected I may have gotten it from my tumble into the ditch because there is often fecal matter in the water. After a heavy dose of antibiotics, I was cured, and about 15 pounds later, that's a win. A win is a win.
You look at it that way.
Come on. The moral of the story is read the fine print, but if you don't, an intestinal disease is sometimes worth the adventure. Thanks for reading. Love you too. Signed, shitting my face off in cabin 30.
Camper, why don't you share a little anecdote? You don't have to go into depth because I know we talked about it on this podcast before, but for our new campers who may not have gone all the way back, because that was in the first maybe week that we started this podcast.
I'm not sure when it was. It was very early on. If you've listened to all of our episodes, you've heard it, but a couple years ago, we went to Bali on the trip.
I was editing episode 2 as soon as we landed in Bali in the hotel lobby. So it must have been episode 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, it's early on our camp counselor journey, but we did go to Bali with a bunch of my followers. It was a great trip. But the big takeaway here was that I got into a dirty pond for a rice paddy excursion. And it was like a watery trench. And I was sitting on the back of a plow that a cow was pulling in waist deep of still water.
It was stagnant.
It was stagnant.
Really gross, dirty water.
And all of my followers got in with me, and Jonathan was being a little bitch and wouldn't get in. And then we all got an infection, and Jonathan didn't. So
yeah, the way that everybody was acting like it was normal and I understand that that's how they work there, but I'm like, this doesn't seem like a great idea.
Well, the problem was the infection. I didn't get what you got. Yours was way worse.
Yeah, that was internally.
Yeah, mine was external. Mine was a skin rash. I had like a rash up my entire side where I didn't immediately wash off. I washed off.
Lest you forget your hands.
I'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
I had when I got out of the water, I rinsed my entire body off, but where the rash was, where the flecks of mud had flicked up on like my side and my arm. So I didn't give that a good scrub because it was literally like a hose next to the rice paddy field. Had I done a better wash job of my whole body, it wouldn't have gotten an infection. But what happened was I was under so much stress from my body and this infection that I gave myself a secondary infection where my hands blistered. But that was my own fault. My anxiety and my stress caused that. That had nothing to do with an actual like element of Bali. I gave myself a second infection. Isn't that crazy?
That is, and I've never seen anything like that before. Your hands were like,
they were bubbling up. I had blisters all over my palms.
It was the strangest, most stressful. It was really stressful.
Oh,
in retrospect, like it was
horrifying.
Really horrible.
And because I am the most high-strung, stressed out person you guys have ever met. And I don't even know if you guys know that about me. I am under so much stress that I put on myself 24/7, and it manifested into blistered hands. So if you leave with nothing from this podcast today or forever, I just want everybody to chill out, because you will kill yourself based on your own stress, and it'll be your own fault. Stress is the number one killer. And I'm going to die from a stress-related illness. I know it. I got to calm down. Everyone's like, start smoking weed again. Yet that made me more stressed. That's why I have a Michelob Ultra. Calms me down.
Take a day off.
Give it a rest.
Annalisa Vanderpool said it herself. And you can say it yourself. And maybe we'll say it on the podcast. If you go to campcounselorspodcast.com or send us an email, campcounselorspod@gmail.com. Thank you for sending in your stories.
Yeah. And if you haven't yet, please rate and review our show 5 stars. And also subscribe to the YouTube. A lot of you are watching and aren't hitting that little bell. Okay? Or not following the page. And we noticed. And it's hurting my feelings. But if you don't want to, whatever. I just love you guys so much. You can't make me upset. You guys cannot make me upset. I love you, campers. Freaking love you so much. Is that it?
I think that's it.
With that being said, lights out, campers.